We're into September, and that means sales numbers are in for automakers for the month of August. We're going to take a snapshot at most of the Japanese and Korean automakers today to see how well they're doing. Are the sales increasing? Is availability increasing? Let's go. Make sure you have your snacks and drinks and smash the like button for better availability of brand new cars. Now, I got to pump the brakes a little bit because of my last video talking about how Toyota is expecting to break a production record and a sales record this year for 2023. So many comments were saying, hey, Toyota, there's just still nothing on the lots. If I go to the dealership, they say 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, depending on the model, depending on where you're at in the world as well. And that is going to be a continuing trend despite them still being able to pump out 10, 11 million vehicles per year. Here's a couple things that are going on for Toyotas and a lot of these other vehicles, why there's still nothing on the lots for a lot of these makers. Well, you've had several years of them not being able to produce at ideal volumes. So Toyota's used to producing or should be producing 10 million vehicles per year, but they've only been producing far less than that due to supply shortages. And here's an example. Toyota is used to selling over 2 million vehicles here in the United States. Let's say 2.1 million is where they would like to be. Then pandemic happened in 2020. They're short 300,000 units there, not able to meet the demand. In 2021, short 200,000. There's a 500,000 backlog right there. 2022, wow, this is about 400,000 units short. So Toyota's about 1 million vehicles short still in 2023 of pent-up backlog of demand. So it's going to be a while. Who knows? It could be a year, 2 years before vehicles start sitting on the lot more like it used to. We're still not back to normal. Normal would be a full lot of cars sitting there for you to browse and peruse through, take your time. You pick the color that you want that's sitting on the lot. Those days are over and they're never coming back. But we should be able to get back to that in the next year or so with availability on lots instead of waiting for months and months and months or years for the ideal vehicle to come in for you. So we're not out of the woods, but we're out of the woods in terms of production snags for the most part. We'll talk about Honda today. The Honda's still dealing with some transportation issues, and I think that could be a growing concern as well. So pent-up demand is one. The second thing I truly believe is that there might be more Toyota buyers than ever before. I think there might be a bigger demand than Toyota's ever seen before. If they produced 15 million vehicles a year, I think they could probably sell it. Why is that? Well, they have more models than ever before. They have a more fleshed out lineup. They're creating better products, or at least more enticing products than we've ever seen before, especially with their hybrids. And so if Toyota could produce more hybrids, millions more of them, I honestly think there would be no problem of the dealers and Toyota getting them off their hands. But greater demand than ever before, and then pent-up demand due to the shortages. I think that's what's going on, at least on Toyota's end. But let's head on over to automotive news. They're able to get Toyota sales numbers even though Toyota doesn't publicly report it. So they must have some sort of behind the scenes and direct information. I should be able to get that as well. I just have never reached out to Toyota because Toyota only reports quarterly now officially, but Automotive News somehow always gets their monthly numbers. All right, let's get into it. Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, Kia sales rise again in August. And for a lot of these manufacturers, it is a continuation of them crushing it because the last couple of years have been low in volume. So their numbers, even though they're getting back to normal, they look like they're double-digit percentage increases, etc. So volume rose 15% at Toyota, with sales of up to 16% at the Toyota division and about 9.4% at Lexus. 21% increase in light truck deliveries. What are their light trucks? Those are crossovers. And sometimes, their pickup trucks too are considered light trucks. So anything that's not a car, sedan, a coupe, a station wagon, that's all light truck. So Toyota only has a 23-day supply to start September, while Lexus has a 37-day supply. Interesting. It's interesting that there's such a big difference in the demand there, but maybe people are waiting for electric Lexuses. Maybe people are waiting for the new GX. But I don't know. I bet they're having no problem selling the current V8 GX. So not quite sure there's a greater supply here for Lexus. Maybe the higher interest rates and the uncertainty of the economy is forcing traditional Lexus buyers into the Toyota lineup. That's a possibility as well. And then you have things like the Crown, which is like a Lexus, costs like a Lexus, has driving mechanics and noise isolation like a Lexus, but badges a Toyota. So the lines are getting blurred absolutely more so than ever with the differentiation of premium and mainstream. We have a huge increase for Acura. We'll go over the individual model sales here in a little bit. So Acura up 61% on August, up 47% on the year. Honda up 56% in August, up 30% on the year. And this will keep getting bigger and bigger, right? Because these August changes are massive for North American Honda. So they will probably be up 50% by the end of the year. And they were down about 50% last year. So they're just kind of getting back to normal. Genesis posting best ever numbers. Look at this, guys. They're selling about half of what Acura does. And that's pretty impressive because they're a new luxury brand. So Genesis up 26%. 22% on the year. Hyundai only up 1% in August and Kia up 9%. You got to keep in mind, Hyundai and Kia haven't had the main or the big hiccups in production compared to most of these other brands. So just because they're not up hugely month over month or year over year, it's because last year they had a better year than most other brands. All right, Hyundai and Kia overall up 15% on the year, just up 6% on the month. Mazda up 19% on the month, up 27% on the year. Mazda surging forward. It'll be fun to talk about them today as they bring more models into their lineup. The CX-90s here, the CX-70 will be coming soon, and maybe a Mazda 6 in the future, hopefully sooner rather than later. Subaru up 12.5% on the month. 16% on the year. Lexus and Toyota, we already talked about them. Toyota just barely up for the year, but they're gaining in strength and better availability and better volume as we close out 2023. So let's get straight into Honda here. What's going on? What are they really succeeding with on their model lineup? Honda, more than the other brands, is still citing continued industry logistics and supply issues. They got hit harder than anyone in 2022, it seemed like, with their huge drop in production due to the lack of the right parts and microchips. So Honda electrified models post record August sales, topping 25,000 units for the sixth straight month, with both CR-V and Accord hybrid electric models exceeding 50% of their sales mix. Their hybrids are better than their non-hybrids with those models. There is no question. And a big part of that, well, the Accord Note doesn't have any performance models with the 2-liter turbo, the V6. So your option is a CVT with a 1.5 turbo or a 2-liter hybrid that's smooth, quiet, and efficient and more powerful. Which one are you going to go for? And the same remains true with the CR-V. The CR-V hybrid is much better than the CR-V turbo. All right, CR-V nears 31,000 units, marking 6th straight month of 30,000 units or better. Pilot tops 10,000 units despite supply issues. So Pilot must have some of the most debilitating issues right now because that's the only model they're kind of calling out that's having supply issues. HR-V posts best month ever of the year, and this is big news because best August of all time. That's impressive. They switched over to the new HR-V. Was it sometime mid last year? And it took them until now, essentially, to get up to production levels of the old HR-V. But not only that, they've blown past old HR-V production levels. So this should be their second bestseller, absolutely behind the CR-V. It should sell better than the Civic and the Accord just due to where the market demands are right now. So it'll be fun to see how the HR-V can grow in volume. Odyssey tops nearly 6,000 units, 50,000 for the year to remain a force in the minivan segment. Minivans are so hot right now. People are finally waking up, realizing that they're far more practical, efficient, affordable, sometimes affordable than large, huge SUVs with doors that fly out, right? Sliding doors is an ultimate luxury for a family and easy and just tons of cargo space. Anyways, you guys know I could be in a minivan the rest of my life and be a happy camper. Acura highlights, they surpassed 12,000 units for the 6th straight month, so they've recovered. 47% increased in 2023. Integra passes 2,500 units for the 7th straight month, maintaining sales momentum and leadership, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're kind of in their own segment. I know they do have competition with Audi and whatnot, but there's not a lot of competition, in my opinion, for the Integra, and that's a good thing. It really stands out. The Integra Type S contributes 11% of the sales mix for the Integra. That is impressive. I thought it would be more like 5%, but 11%, if they can keep churning out those models, which they should be able to. It's made in the United States, 100%. They don't have to ship things back and forth between Japan. So that's awesome to see for the Type S. If they're able to keep that volume high, which I doubt they will be, that means prices would come down. Well, not necessarily MSRP prices, but markup prices. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to get too excited about that. TLX sales driven by strong performance of Type S models. 26%, over a quarter of TLXs are the Type S. My opinion, the TLX Type S is a way better buy than the Integra Type S. There's only, well, the TLX Type S has gotten more expensive since it launched a couple years ago. So yeah, it's still a better buy. You get super handling all-wheel drive. You get more horsepower. You get a V6, and you get an automatic, which a lot of Integra buyers wish they had the automatic option, even though the 6-speed manual is chef's kiss. All right, let's keep moving. RDX. We need a new RDX. I'll be coming out by the end of next year. MDX doing well. So RDX is finally catching up to MDX volume where it should be, in my opinion. RDX posting the best month of the year. RDX is a good vehicle. It has weak AC. It has tons of space, good power, good performance. What else did I not like about the RDX? Oh, the fuel economy is terrible, like low 20s if I remember right, which is not great. And Acura will be going straight electric from internal combustion. So they got rid of all their hybrids, their sport hybrids in the RLX and the MDX and whatnot. And now we just have fuel sipping Acuras, which that's fine. Honda makes some of the best motors out there, and I'm sure a lot of you guys don't want an Acura that's electric. So long live the internal combustion Honda engines. So let's look into what's going on here for Honda and Acura. Cars for Acura, this is standing out, up 82%. Holy cow, for the month of August. And up 80% for Honda. So their cars are back. All right. Accord up 36% on the year, up 52% on the month. So it's gaining momentum. Civic up 133% on the month and up 47% on the year. They still can't meet the Civic demand, in my opinion. This number right here, the Civic should be outselling the Accord. It's a lower priced vehicle. The Civic's huge nowadays. And the Civic is a much better design and more fun to drive than the Accord. So I think the Civic is a better car than the Accord. And just wait for that Civic to get that hybrid system, 45, 50 miles per gallon. It should be just as fast as the Civic Si. Civic Hybrid should be coming sometime, hopefully at the first half of this year, but I don't want to hold my breath. You'll be able to get in a sedan in hybrid form. So Civic coming back strong here. It's only a matter of time before it passes the Accord sales, in my opinion. All right, Honda Insight, rest in peace. CR-V up 65% on the month, up 45% on the year. It's gaining momentum. Most of them are hybrids, which is the way to go. 40 miles per gallon. The hybrid sport's the way to go with the CR-V, unless you absolutely need all-wheel drive in the sport touring, but I just don't think it's worth the price increase. HR-V here, up 62%, selling 11,000 units, outselling the Pilot. And if, like I said, if they could produce more, I think it actually could be outselling the Civic and Accord, especially when the HR-V gets a hybrid. It's not if, it's a matter of when, in my opinion. So the HR-V hybrid probably comes out in 2025 at the way things are rolling. And that will compete well 2 years after, though, but it will compete well with the Corolla Cross hybrid. All right, HR-V still down 12% on the year, but it seems like they're out of the woods with the production there, posting best month ever. Honda Odyssey up 82% on the month, up 87% on the year. They are crushing it with the Odyssey, and there's a lot of demand for minivans, as I mentioned. Well, you also have the Passport, kind of like a shrunken down Pilot. They don't sell that many of these. This is actually their worst seller on their Honda end. And that's fine. You know, the Ridgeline, I'd probably pick a Ridgeline over the Passport. I'd pick a Pilot over the Ridgeline, and I'd pick an Odyssey over the Pilot for my needs. Anyways, that's irrelevant, but the Passport is down 25%. Don't know why, but that's for the month. It's up 9% on the year. So I wonder if they're allocating parts from the Passport to the Pilot or something. That would make sense to me because the Pilot's a more profitable, more inexpensive vehicle. So maybe they plan on killing off the Passport for a new generation. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the huge drop there. Ridgeline also dropping in volume for the month of August. So yeah, the Passport, the Pilot, the Ridgeline, they're all built at the same plant, if I remember correctly. I think that's in Alabama. So maybe they're just allocating those parts for the Pilot, which is a more profitable vehicle. So that could be what's going on there. Acura down 100% on the ILX, but it's the ILX, rest in peace. Those things are selling really fast on the used market right now. So Acura having a success rate maybe in the CPO department there with the ILX. 8-speed DCT, good power, naturally aspirated engine. And I thought the refresh looks in the ILX were pretty good before it was replaced by the Integra. Integra up 71% on the month, up 390% on the year because it just started becoming available mid last year. So Integra up massively and TLX up 96% on the month, 843% on the year. So the TLX is back, but they're really focusing on pushing that TLX Type S, which I think I mean, for me, I'd either be getting A-Spec TLX or the Type S TLX. That's how I would be going. All right, MDX up 20% about for the month, up 40% on the year. So things are cooling off with the MDX, but it shares in some ways a lot with the Pilot. So maybe they're having some supply bottlenecks there as well. RDX, though, seems to be out of the woods, almost up 100% on the month and up 30% on the year. So Honda is bouncing back. They're not 100% out of the woods yet with their large platform vehicles, but that should be fixing itself in the near future. All right, Mazda. Mazda is one of the more fun ones to cover because they are, well, I got a Mazda CX-30 for review this week. Always impressed by how powerful the turbo is in that thing. It is a rocket. It handles okay. It's a bit front heavy. Wait for my full review. But the CX-30 is a big time. It's like a luxury car with, no, I wouldn't say ride quality, but maybe noise isolation is really quiet in there. And performance is definitely more like a performance premium luxury car as well. And the interior materials are very, very nice. Anyways, just wait for my CX-30 review. Best ever August sales for that CX-30 for 6,600 vehicles sold. Best ever sale. Well, you know, the CX-90 just came on sale this year. So they sold 1,700 CX-90 plug-in hybrids for the month of August. Overall, Mazda up about 19% in the month of August and up 27% compared to the full year of last year. Mazda 3 has a good turnaround, but they still are getting slayed on the hatchback. The hatchback is down 16% on the month and down 12% on the year, while the sedan is up 55%. So maybe they're just seeing a much higher demand for the sedan and they are apportionating or prioritizing those sedan sales over the hatchback sales. It's hard to say, or they could have production supply issues with the hatchback. Very strange why the sedan is up so much more. But at least the Mazda 3, long live the Mazda 3. All right, Mazda 6, rest in peace. Hopefully they bring it back. MX-5 down on the month, but up 82% on the year. Not sure why they are down on the month. You know, the hardtop is seeing some big reductions in availability, it looks like, while the standard drop top, maybe they're seeing a much more higher take rate and interest in the standard MX-5 instead of the hardtop convertible, which nowadays, if I was buying an MX-5, I think I'd be getting the soft top over the hardtop. It's cheaper, it's lighter, bigger trunk space, and it's a lot easier to flip up that top. And you wouldn't have to worry about it breaking so much in the future. All right. CX-30, we talked about how it just had its best month ever, up 40% of the month, up 61% on the year. They're selling a ton of these. Is it outselling the HRV? So they've sold 52,000 of those this year. Compared to the HRV, no, HRV is at 74,000, but Mazda's not that far behind, only about 20,000 behind. And they're a much smaller brand than Honda. CX-5 still doing well despite it being old as dirt, up 4.4% on the year, but up 5.6%. If you're wondering why they're giving two percentages here, is because one is just total volume, and then the other one's the daily selling rate. CX-9, rest in peace. You know, they've finally discontinued it. And we moved on to the CX-90. We'll talk about that in a little bit. CX-50, down 6.5%, down 10%. They just can't get enough workers. Seemingly at the Alabama plant, unemployment rates are extremely low there. And yeah, that's tough to see, honestly, that they cannot produce the vehicles. It's up 168% on the year. Remember, because they just started producing it last year. So not looking good, honestly, for the CX-50 and its availability. I still think the CX-5 is a better vehicle anyway, so doesn't hurt me deep down inside. MX-30, rest in peace. It is killed off for North America, the 100-mile range EV. All right, CX-90 has sold, well, we have nothing to compare it to, but the inline 6 has sold 87,000 units, and then the plug-in hybrid one has sold we're almost at 50% here of mix between plug-in hybrid and the standard CX-90 mild hybrid. And I've heard good things about the plug-in hybrid. That might be the route I would be going if I was getting a CX-90, but I haven't tested the plug-in hybrid quite yet. Mazda overall up 27% for the year, up 18% for the month. Moving on to Subaru. You know, Subaru, I think they just came out with the Crosstrek Wilderness. They also have refreshed the Crosstrek recently. And make sure to watch out my review of the Crosstrek as well as the Impreza RS. I really liked both of those vehicles. I like how they drive from a handling as well as a ride quality perspective. But the CVTs kill it for me, and just their ho-hum performance kill it for me. At least engine performance, I should say. All right, let's just look at volume here. Subaru Ascent up 2.9% on the year, but down 14% on the month. Subaru Ascent held back by the CVT again, in my opinion. Pretty much all of these models are, but it is what it is. Really wish Subaru had Toyota's hybrid system, and if they did, they would be incredible. But anyways, I could say that for Mazda too, but at least Mazda still has 8-speed and 6-speed autos. All right, BRZ. A little sports car that could, down 13% on the month. Crosstrek down 8% on the month. Maybe because they're switching over to the new model. They just haven't met the old model's production volume yet. Forester up 46% on the month. That's impressive, up 31% on the year. Crosstrek losing out of its sales crown here. We got to remember the Crosstrek was the best-selling vehicle for Subaru in the last year or two. But that's no longer the case because the Outback is outselling it, as well as the Forester, at least now for the month of August. Forester is probably my favorite Subaru as well. It's good to see it becoming the number one seller again, at least for the month of August, and up 31% on the year. Impreza, despite the new model coming out, it's down 36%, up 21% on the year, though. Maybe they haven't been able to increase that volume with the new model change. Legacy. Interesting. The Legacy is up 46%. It's old and it's a sedan. So yeah, it's up 6.6 on the year. So maybe they have plenty of parts for the Legacy. Outback up 32% on the month, 11% on the year. Outback is back. Solterra has sold 4,600 units this year so far for the first ever battery electric Subaru that I'm aware of here in the United States. WRX down 27%. It's up, well, that's for the month, but it's up 71% on the year. Not sure why it's down so much. It might be because there's not a big demand for the WRX. I'm seeing more and more out on the streets. If you can find, because I've seen deals around $30,000, it's an absolute steal for that amount of money. If you can get in the manual, wouldn't touch it with the CVT. That's just me. But yeah, 12.5% up on the month for total Subaru here, and up 15% on the year. We're moving to the Koreans here. Guns blazing for the Koreans. And they're still increasing despite the increasing slowing. So they increased to 1% to 65%. Now, this is just Hyundai because Kia is doing a little bit better than Hyundai. If we look at Kia, they surpassed 70,000 units for the fourth straight month. Guys, Kia is outselling Hyundai by 5,000 units. I can't wrap my head around that. That is incredible. Eco-friendly vehicles up 80%. Best ever August total sales for Ioniq 5. Santa Fe plug-in hybrid, rest in peace. They are killing it off. Now, I want to mention this. There's supposed to be a second generation Sorento, Santa Fe, etc. plug-in hybrid coming. And that's why we're not getting a Santa Fe plug-in hybrid at launch of the new Santa Fe. I'm hearing that it is 100 kilometers of range, which is around 60 miles of range for electric mode. So I can't wait, honestly, if those rumors are true. Coming out of Korea, I cannot wait to see a Santa Fe plug-in hybrid with 50, 60 miles of plug-in range and maybe more power than we've seen before. Kona EV, I will be driving the new Kona in just a couple of days in Baltimore, so stay tuned for my driving impressions of the new redesign. Tucson PHEV, HEV, and Santa Cruz have also posted a best ever August. All right, let's see down below. The Subaru, guy, I always say Subaru Accent because, the Accent's dead. So rest in peace, Accent. Dying cars, dying cheap cars throughout the industry, getting canceled left and right. Elantra, down 21% on the month, down 12% on the year. It could be because they're switching over to the refreshed model. So watch my video on the new refreshed Elantra. Is looking pretty good. You know, I'm not going to say it's a big improvement on the exterior compared to the outgoing Elantra. The interior brings some welcome improvements, especially in the limited trim. Anyways, Ioniq 5 up 136% on the month, up 121% on the year. That's awesome to see. So they're finally getting the volume back on these guys. These are best to lease because you can only get that tax credit when you lease them. Same thing with the Ioniq 6. Good to see some volume here. They've sold so far 6,600 on the year. What about the Kona? Well, it's up 71% despite moving to the new model, and that's for the month of August. For the whole year, it's up 56%. So selling at a clip of 49,000 units for the Kona. Remember, the Crosstrek is in the same segment. The Crosstrek sells double in terms of volume. Mazda, remember the Mazda CX-30 compared to that. Mazda is outselling the Kona by a few thousand units. And Honda is outselling with the HR-V by about 25,000 units. Always fun to do a little comparison on the compact crossover market. Very fast growing one because the mid-size SUVs just are getting so enormous. All right, Palisade down 11% on the year, down 26% on the month. Not sure why it's down so much. There's been a huge demand for those vehicles, but maybe the demand's starting to drop off. Hard to say. Santa Cruz up 6% on the month, up 5% on the year. They're kind of at capacity for that vehicle, pretty close to anyways. So they've sold about 26,000 so far this year. And I believe there would be plenty of buyers if they could produce more of them because other than the Ford Maverick, there's no competition in that segment. Toyota, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, none of them have come out with a really small pickup truck, which you know they're capable of doing. All right, Santa Fe, despite going to the new model soon, up 23% on the month, up 17% on the year. Sonata down 30% as they're getting ready for the refresh. Same thing with the Elantra being down. So no big deal there, in my opinion, as they get ready for the new models, bringing in the RoboCop design over the Catfish. Most people are really excited for it. Hyundai Tucson here, up 14%. Make sure to check out my Tucson plug-in hybrid review. I got 38 miles of EV range, 5 miles over the EPA estimate. And then you have 18% up on the year for the Tucson, their cash cow, their volume seller, selling 134,000 units. Let's compare that to the best sellers for Subaru. Forester is probably the direct competitor. Forester is down. Forester is only at 91,000. Mazda CX-5 at 106,000. But if you add the CX-5, which is pretty much the same category as well, they're about 140,000 as well. We're close to where the Tucson is. CR-V, Honda sells a ton of CR-Vs. It's one of the best-selling mid-size crossovers. I guess is it technically a compact? And then the Passport is mid-size. I don't know. The lines are blurred all the time. CR-V, 227,000. volume. So 100K over essentially what the Tucson is selling. But Tucson, no joke, man. They keep gobbling up market share. Veloster, rest in peace. Venue down 26%. This sucks because we need more cheap cars. Cheap cars getting canceled left and right. And yeah, the Venue is now the entry level crossover, or you could say vehicle probably overall. Hyundai with the Elantra getting close, but the Venue I think has a lower ticket entry price. Moving on to Kia. August marks Kia's 13th consecutive year-over-year sales growth. Kia, we're ending with a bang here because Kia has been crushing it. I'm reviewing a Kia Soul this week. First time I've been driving it. Wait for my impressions. Can't wait to share it. 7 Kia models post year-over-year increases, 4 set August records. So what are the 7 Kia models with the year-over-year increases? We're at the Niro, Carnival, minivans going strong. EV6, well, we saw that with the Ioniq 5 as well. Rio, rest in peace. Oh, that sucks, right? Rio is going to be canceled, I think, 2024, 2025 model year. I think it's 2025 model year. I'm trying to remember. Telluride, up 13%. Seltos, up just 1%. And K5, up 1%. K5 not getting a refresh. Like the Sonata. Maybe next year we'll get a refresh on the K5 or something. All right, best ever August. Carnival, EV6, Niro, and Telluride. So Telluride getting the volume here. Best ever August, while the Palisade is not. I believe the Palisade is built in Korea and the Telluride is built here stateside. They must not have sort of the restraints here stateside for the full large size crossover. Kia's light trucks or utility vehicles account for 72% of the brand's overall August sales. So they don't do percentages. And I'm not going to make my own spreadsheet like I've done in the past to calculate the percentages, but we'll do our best here to look at what's going on. EV6 gaining traction. Kia Rio gaining traction as it's discontinued. Kia Forte is actually down on the month, and this will be their entry-level model now that the Rio is being canceled. But it is up on the year. Kia K5 is about at a wash for the month and a little bit down on the year. Kia Stinger, rest in peace. Kia Soul, down big on the month. And it is up on the year, though. So I'm not sure why it's suffering in the month of August here. Kia Niro. Well, they must have been switching over from the old Niro to the new Niro last August. That's why we see these ridiculous sales gains here. But this is kind of their answer to the Prius. It has more room, but it is way slower, not quite as efficient. It looks okay. I actually like the looks of the Niro, but the Prius looks are better. So the Niro hybrid and plug-in hybrid, and there's a Niro EV as well. It's doing awesome for them. Maybe people can't get that Prius because the demand is still way higher than the supply. So maybe they're settling on a Niro. All right, Kia Seltos up massively on the year. I know it had a tough last year, but it's kind of fully recovered at this point. I think they said it's up 1% on the month, but it's doing great on the year. Sportage, it's actually down on the month, up on the year though. Look at this volume. I think they've essentially maxed out their production capacity for the Sportage. They sold 96,000 Sportages, guys, crushing everything. I mean, look how many Fortes they sell as well. Forte is their second best seller. I do see a lot of Fortes on the road. All right, Sorento, their smaller 3-row crossover, selling a ton as well, nearly 60,000 units. Now, we don't know when the Sorento is going to get a redesign, probably next year with the Santa Fe bringing in the redesign this year. But yeah, it's down on the month, up on the year though. Telluride, absolutely crushing it for Kia. 9,700 units. I'm going to go back to Hyundai. How many did they sell with the Palisade? 6,000 units. So they've sold over 3,000 more units for the Telluride with better production volume would be my guess. And they've sold 74,000 Tellurides on the year compared to just 51,000 Palisades. So the Telluride getting a lot more volume there. Carnival finally up. They're producing these guys at volume now. Sold 5,400 on the month. That's really close. And I saw a Carnival yesterday. That's really close to where the Odyssey is. 5,900 for the Odyssey. And Odyssey has sold 50,000 on the year. Carnival is at 5,400, but they're only at 28,000 on the year. So hopefully they can keep this 5,500 plus volume up for the Carnival because the demand for those families and elderly people who buy minivans, which is probably half, to be honest. They can, I don't know. Old people love minivans. That's the way it is. Either carting the grandkids around once or twice a year, or just having a vehicle that sits up high, that's safe, that's a Swiss Army knife too. Anyways, old people are smart. They're practical. They want to stretch their dollar as far as they can oftentimes, and they know a minivan does that better than any other car out there. So long live the Carnival, aka Sedona. Rest in peace, Sedona. They just renamed it because it's been the Carnival overseas. Anyways, Kia doing great. They're doing great things. And who would have thought little Kia would be outselling parent company Hyundai? I still can't wrap my head around that, but I'm getting it there, guys. A long video today, but it just makes me happy going over sales numbers for the automakers. If you enjoy this sort of content, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe for more monthly updates. So next month, end of September, early October, we'll get third quarter results. We'll have a lot more data from all the manufacturers, including Toyota, who only reports quarterly, as well as Nissan. They only report quarterly as well. So stay tuned. Can't wait to bring it to you next month. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves, and peace.